Welcome to the lesson on the nature and definitions of banks. As usual, the learning materials for this topic can be found in the description below the video in order of appearance. Banks are complex entities because they function both as credit institutions and as financial institutions. By definition, a credit institution is an organization licensed to take deposits or other repayable funds from the public and to lend or invest those funds. For example, the European Banking Authority, EBA, defines a credit institution as an undertaking whose business is to receive deposits or other repayable funds from the public and to grant credits for its own account. On the other hand, the term financial institutions covers a wider group: monetary financial institutions, investment funds, financial vehicle corporations, payment statistics, relevant institutions, insurance corporations, and pension funds. Given these definitions, banks are properly described as credit institutions. Yet under Regulation ECB 2021 recast, banks are classified among monetary financial institutions, reflecting how modern banks do more than traditional deposit-taking and lending. Why banks are special? Professor Hopt has argued that banks differ fundamentally from non-bank firms. Several features make them unique. Firstly, low capitalization. Compared to many other companies, banks often operate with lower capital buffers relative to the risks they take. Secondly, lack of transparency. Banking structures and transactions are often less visible than those of non-bank firms, due in part to confidentiality norms and regulatory complexity. Thirdly, economic role. Banks are deeply interwoven into national economies. Their operations affect many sectors. Their failure can pose systemic risk. Fourthly, macroeconomic function. Banks help enable payments, credit creation, and liquidity. Díaz, Molyneux, and Idowu argue that because of that, a failing bank may trigger cascading failures beyond its own industry, creating externalities. These features explain why banks are highly regulated, especially with regard to those considered too big to fail or too interconnected to fail. As Wymeersch notes, regulators often impose special rules, bail-in measures, state rescues, and stronger oversight for systemically important financial institutions. Even smaller banks are subject to many of the same regulatory norms, albeit less intensely. Laeven remarks that because of banks' complexity and uniqueness, their corporate governance is also more challenging. Beyond shareholders, banks must consider bondholders, depositors, government regulators, and other creditors. As Vargas Hernandez and Maria Cruz argue, conflicts of interest may arise between management versus shareholders, shareholders versus other stakeholders, or management versus depositors or government interests. Recognizing these multiple relationships is essential for understanding bank governance. Let us now consider the agency theory in banking. Agency theory posits that managers, agents, operate on behalf of owners, principals, i.e. shareholders. But agents' goals may diverge. As Douglas Boss and Robert Phillips suggest in banking, this divergence is often more severe due to information asymmetry. Shareholders know less about detailed operations. Management has more knowledge, which may lead to decisions favoring management rather than owners. Risk externalities. Because banks affect not just shareholders, but also depositors, creditors, and the broader economy, agency problems may generate costs for others. Bosser and Phillips's agency theory relies on three assumptions. All actors are narrowly self-interested. All actors are boundedly rational. They do not have perfect information or unlimited cognitive capacity. Agents are more risk-averse than principals. Bounded rationality is significant. As Esther Miriam Sent explains, while theory often assumes rational decisions, in practice people act given limited time, information, and cognitive capacity. In banking, this means that decisions between shareholder and management interests are not always optimal, but rather they are satisficing, good enough under constraints. We will now turn to stakeholder theory in banking. As Huntsman and Krachmann suggest, stakeholder theory builds upon shareholder primacy, arguing that corporations should serve not only shareholders but other parties, employees, suppliers, communities, etc. Historically, creditor protection was a major concern, but more recently, broader stakeholder groups are recognized. Key points. Stakeholder theory still often assumes shareholders remain primary, but expands the moral and economic purview of what the corporation owes. For instance, as Vasudev correctly remarks, creditors accept no managerial control, yet they take risk when a company fails. It may therefore be unfair for them to bear losses when they had no say in governance. In summary, what to take forward. In teaching about banks and corporate governance, we must internalize several core lessons. Banks are not just firms that take deposits and lend. They combine credit institution functions with broader financial roles, as monetary financial institutions, expose economies to systemic risk, and necessitate unique regulatory treatment. Agency theory captures some of the governance tensions in banking, but only in part. Risk exposure, asymmetry, and stakeholder impacts mean simple principal-agent models must be expanded. Stakeholder theory helps us see the moral claims of non-shareholders, depositors, bondholders, communities. In conclusion then, banks' special features, regulatory importance, macroeconomic role, stakeholder diversity, and systemic impact make their governance qualitatively different from that of non-banks. Corporate governance theory in banking must therefore encompass both shareholder and stakeholder frameworks, account for agency challenges in high-risk environments, and understand the legal institutions which shape how risks and responsibilities are shared. Thank you for your interest in this topic. If you would like to learn more about banking law, take a look at our dedicated videos where we examine complex questions in depth. We hope this lesson was helpful to you, and we are looking forward to seeing you again soon.